Well, what's going on, everybody? Good to see you. What's up, Robert? How you doing, man? Good to see you. Jody, also good to see you. Sarah, good to see you. I'm running way behind today. All right. Glad to be able to be here. So, Campfire. What's Campfire mean to me? I grew up in Florida. I was a Boy Scout. I'm 1/8 Blackfoot Indian. So campfires have been in my life, all my life. When I was young here in the Tampa Bay area, we used to be able to build bonfires on the causeways and on the beach and things like that. Can't do that anymore. How you doing, Queen? Good to see you. So I'm going to do some campfire songs, tell some stories, and just move you through. So let's just kick back and relax. Growing up, a lot of the things that we listened to was John Denver. So around a campfire, there was always a lot of John Denver going on. Like this song. Almost Heaven, West Virginia, Blue Ridge Mountain, Shenandoah River. Life is old there, older than the trees, younger than the mountains, blowing like a breeze. Country roads take me home to the place where I belong. West Virginia, Mountain Mama, take me home down country roads. All my memories gather round her, miner's lady, stranger to the blue waters. Dark and dusty, painted on the sky, I miss the taste of moonshine, teardrops in my eyes. Country roads take me home to the place where I belong. West Virginia, Mountain Mama, take me home down country roads. I hear her voice in the morning hour, she calls me. The radio reminds me of my home far away. And driving down that road, I get that feeling that I should have been home yesterday. Yesterday, country roads take me home to the place where I belong. West Virginia, Mountain Mama, take me home down country roads. Country roads take me home to the place where I belong. West Virginia, Mountain Mama, take me home down country roads. Take me home down country roads. Yeah, the weather is rough everywhere these days. So as a Boy Scout, we used to sit around the campfire. And of course, in Boy Scouts, the stories you're always told is stories that are supposed to scare you so you can learn to do things like clean up after yourself and all that. Not to step in a fire. Yeah, one time a kid stepped in a fire. It wasn't me. I was smart enough to stay away from the fire. But one of the stories they used to tell us as Boy Scouts around the fire and Cub Scouts and all that, learning, was the story of the tree wampus and the mud wampus. These were little creatures with claws that were about 6-inch long and razor sharp and had red glowing eyes. The tree wampuses would sit in the trees, and the mud wampuses would wade along in the ditches where the water was and stuff like that. And so they only came out at night. So you shouldn't be running around at night. You shouldn't leave your dishes dirty. You shouldn't leave your fire going unattended. So we learned all about the nature out there through fear of it. And then there was the day the big black bear came through the woods. Of course, it didn't get close to us, but we could hear it as it came from the distance and crossed into the distance with a little bit of distance between us and that. Yep, America's got snakes. You call them crocs, we call them alligators, but they're really docile compared to the crocs around the world. Yeah, just one snake, Robert. I would say don't we all, but there's ladies here. Ooh. And not worms. Family fires were sing-alongs. And at those kind of sing-alongs, we did songs like this. This land is your land, this land is my land, from California to the New York Islands, from the Redwood Forest to the Gulf Stream waters. This land was made for you and me. There's so many old country songs like that, folk songs. So, growing up, that's what we used to do. We used to sit around and listen to things like that. Stories being told, stories of being drunk, stories of overeating, stories of falling down. All kinds of things. Then when I began to turn in some Native American circles, the stories were different that were around the fire. We learned about what the fire really meant, what the fire really is, and how it is all-consuming, but at the same time very controllable. The history of the fire is a blessing from the Creator because it changed everything. And the stories that are told around there were stories of battle, stories of great chiefs, both male and female. And of course, the lessons learned about the totems. The totems, that's what you see on totem poles and on effigies and things like that. In the Native American, the totems are the beings that live in the wild and survive. And the Native American looks at those and sees the qualities that their children may have, the qualities that they may have, and they take on that totem as a protector. So when a child's born, the child's generally named about the time of the year and the season and what animals are prominent then. And then when the child gets to be a toddler and a youth and is running around and demonstrating that child's true spirit, then they're given another name. Sometimes it has bits and pieces of that first name, and sometimes it's totally different. And then when they get into adult, by that time, all the characteristics that are within the totems are innate within them. And so they become that name as well. Welcome, Rocky. Good to see you. And along that trail, I got to meet some very interesting people who told very interesting stories. One of them was about the siege at Wounded Knee back in the early 70s, I think it was. I actually had the honor of sweating with a couple people that were involved in that, who were actually bringing in shipments of food and things for the people that were surrounded. My dad always said that on the path of life, you're going to meet people that are going to bring you information. They're going to offer information. And so quick, they start off with the things that we've heard before, and it sounds like our elders repeating the same things over to us. But if you don't cut them off and tell them you already know that, they would continue. If you do cut them off, you may lose the very reason why your paths crossed in the first place. And that kind of conversation, talk, information, it's for free. It only costs you your time. Jamie, welcome. Advice comes for free. Oh, I'm not worried about what you guys got going on out there. You know, friends are friends. Robert, you've always had an offbeat sense of humor, so keep it going, man. And Jody's really tired. She just might be a little grumpy. That's all I could tell out of reading what you got going on there. So, getting involved in that road inspired me in many different ways. And I wrote this song because of what my dad said. This is called Tales of the Old Ones. He sits up on the mountain looking down into a city where as a young man he did live, thinking of his younger days, mistakes that he made on the way. There's nothing else that he can do. He waits up on that mountain for people heading for the city. From other lands they've come to live. He tells them of his younger days, mistakes that he made on the way. There's nothing else that he can do. Tales of the old ones, you could hear they say. I came across that mountain. I was heading to the city where I had thought that I might live. He told me of his younger days, mistakes that he made on the way. I knew that he had so much more. So we sat up on that mountain, looking down into the city. He taught me ways that I could live. He told me of his younger days, mistakes that he made on the way. An open heart, I learned the truth. Tales of the old ones, you could hear them night or day. Tales of the old ones, you should listen to what they say. Tales of the old ones, I can almost hear him say, if you listen to me, I will show you the way. Tales of the old ones. Hey, Icky, good to see you, man. How you doing, Jamie? Welcome in. Then the old man spoke. He said, listen, all you children. Listen, listen to me. You can't live your life without love. And don't you know love is for free? Okay. People came down from that mountain, moving down into the city. For the rest of their lives, there they will live. They wish for their younger days, mistakes they will make on the way. The elder weeps, for they won't listen. Tales of the old ones, you could hear them night or day. Tales of the old ones, you should listen to what they say. Tales of the old ones, our wisdom comes with age. Tales of the old ones. 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 Yeah, I actually did not forget to set my tit jar out. It's just so big and so overbearing, and I would have never carried it out to a campfire anyway. So if you want to just hit me on my tag, I do appreciate that. Icky, thank you so much. And also, please do take care of this venue. You'll find it's board at the left of one of my feet, and our lovely hostess's board at the side of my other foot. That's a footnote. I tried to get a footnote one time, and I even drew a little face on my big toe, but it didn't sing for me. There's been so many songs that have been written that told stories. Some of them, and a lot of them very sad stories, a lot of them just incredible. Songs about life. Everything we do is a story, can be a story. The villains have stories, the heroes have stories, and all the regular people have stories. Because life is a story, at least in our world. I've known quite a few people that should have movies written about their lives. And some of their stories are just absolutely outrageously hilarious. And or something that, you would just laugh your pants off reading or seeing in a film. So this is a tune. It's a story song. It's written by Gordon Lightfoot. Legend lives on from the Chippewa on down of a big lake they call Ditchagumi. The lake, it is said, never gives up her dead when the skies of November turn gloomy. With a load of iron ore 26,000 tons more than the Edmund Fitzgerald weighed empty. That good ship and true was a bone to be chewed when the gales of November came early. As big freighters go, it was bigger than most, with a crew and a captain well seasoned, concluding some terms with a couple steel firms when they left fully loaded for Cleveland. And later that night when the ship's bell rang, could it be the north wind they'd been feeling? The wind in the wires made a tattletale sound as a wave broke over the railing. And every man knew, as the captain did too, 'twas the witch of November come stealing. The dawn came late and the breakfast had to wait when the gales of November came slashing. When afternoon came, it was freezing rain in the face of a hurricane west wind. When supper time came, the old cook came on deck, saying, "Fellas, it's too rough to feed ya." At At 7 p.m. the main hatchway caved in. He said, fellas, it's been good to know ya. The captain wired and he had water coming in, and the good ship and crew was in peril. And later that night, when his lights went out of sight, came the wreck of the Edmund Fitzgerald. Does anyone know where the love of God goes when the waves turn the minutes to hours? The searchers all say they'd have made Whitefish Bay if they put 15 more miles behind her. They might have split up, they might have capsized, they might have broke deep and took water. And all that remains is the faces of names of the wives, the sons, and the daughters. Lake Huron rolls, Superior sings in the rooms of her ice-water mansion. Old Michigan steams like a young man's dreams, and the islands and bays are for sportsmen. And farther below, Lake Ontario takes in what Lake Erie can send her. And the iron boats go, as the mariners all know, with the gales of November remembered. In a musty old hall in Detroit they played in the Maritime Sailors Cathedral. The church bell chimed till it rang 29 times for each man on the Edmund Fitzgerald. The legend lives on from the Chippewa down of a big lake they call Kitchigumi. Superior, they said, never gives up her dead when the gales of November come early. Hey Samuel, good to see you, welcome. Yep. I remember watching my uncle sing that song, Campfire, one night. So one night, a buddy of mine and I, a long time ago, we had driven across from Pinellas County to Hillsborough County, from Clearwater to Tampa. And we drove across what was back then, it's still called the Courtney Campbell Causeway. And back then you could build bonfires on it. And we were in separate cars, and we went to a jam and an open mic and, you know, got pretty shit-faced before we went to make that drive home. I said to Rob, I said, dude, man, if they got a big old bonfire going on the causeway, let's stop there, pull my 12-string out, and crash the party and sing some songs for them. And he was like totally into that. So sure as anything, we're driving back across that causeway, and there is this monstrous bonfire, and there's about 50 people out there, a whole bunch of cars, pickups, and all that stuff. And I'm like, this is it, man. This is the one. So we pull in, but I don't pull into where everybody's parked. I just kind of continue a little bit down the stretch there and pull off away from everybody. And I get out of my car, and he's getting out of his car, and he goes, why'd you pull all the way down here? And I threw a pair of black Ray-Bans on, and I said, I'm going to be blind, and I want you to grab my arm and walk me up there and ask them if they want to listen to this blind guy sing and play guitar. So he did that. This is a true story. And I am sure there are people out there who remember this, who still look back on it as psychotic as it really wound up being. So I sit down and I'm starting to sing, and, I'm doing things like Unchained Melody and stuff like that, Singing it beautifully. We were already warmed up. He was going to do harmonies with me, but he wound up hiding back behind some bushes there because he couldn't come back out because of the fact that he felt like his laughing too hard would give away the shtick. So here I am sitting there, and I'm singing all kinds of songs and doing what I do best. But in between songs, I would say things like, hey, you ever seen that movie, If You Could Hear What I Could Hear? Some people would be like, yeah, and then I'd go, I didn't. And then I'd go into the next song. And so eventually, my terrible humor made people no longer laugh, and they started looking at me like people in a Alfred Hitchcock film because of the horror of it all. But when it was all done and said and done, and we walked out to our separate cars and drove away. So out of all those people there, and the hours that I spent pretending to be a blind guy playing the guitar, I think that there were some people shocked when I got in my own vehicle and drove away that night. So I'm sure that somebody out there remembers it. Grace, how you doing? Good to see you. Yep. That's a true campfire story. Some of the things I said, I wish I could have remembered them. But it was pretty insane. Oh, I do remember saying one time, you know how when people are dating other people, they call it feeling or seeing each other? And they're like, yeah. And I'm like, I call it feeling each other. And I make it my hands out there like I'm groping a pair of breasts. And people are like, oh, this guy's sick. So campfires are a good place to spin a yarn or two. And one of our best storytellers out there was a gentleman by the name of Harry Chapin. And his story alone in itself is just a unique thing. He was writing documentary films, music for documentary films, and his brothers, the Chapin brothers, had got signed, I think, to Atco or Atlantic Records, one of those. And, they were a string trio, and they had got signed and were going in to record an album and all that. And so when they did their album signing party, their brother Harry Chapin came in and performed, and the rest is history. And Harry Chapin was known for his stories and his unique perspective in life and all that. And then, of course, the man who had spent so many hours in his life driving a taxi died in a taxi in a car accident. And throughout my career, I've actually met some people that were there in Madison Square Gardens waiting for Harry Chapin to show up. So anyway, this is a Harry Chapin song called Taxi. It was raining hard in Frisco. I needed one more fare to make my night. A lady up ahead waved to flag me down. She got in at the light. Whoa, what are my hands doing? That's what's going on. I'm in the wrong key. Oh, where you going to, my lady blue? It's a shame you've ruined your gown in the rain. She just stared out the window and said 16 Parkside Lane. It took a while, then she looked in the mirror. Then she glanced at the license for my name. A smile seemed to come to her slowly. It was a sad smile just the same. Then she said, hello, Harry, how are ya? I said, how you doing, Sue? Through too many miles and too little smiles, I still remember you. I think I'm in the right key finally. I don't control my hands, they just control themselves. That's why I'm not letting them into the fire. It was somewhere in a fairy tale. I used to take her home in my car. We learned about love in the back of a Dodge, but the lesson hadn't gone too far. You see, she was gonna be an actress. I was gonna learn to fly. Well, she took off to find the footlights, and I took off to find the sky. Oh, I've got something inside me to drive a person blind. Oh, wild man wizard living in me, illuminating my mind. Oh, I've got something inside me, not what my life's about. My head keeps turning me inside till my time runs out. Ooh, she's got flying. Yeah, she's flying, afraid to fall. I'll tell you why. Baby's crying. She's dying. Aren't we all? There was not much left to talk about. Whatever we had was what gone. I turned my cab into the driveway, past the gate and the fine trim lawn. She said, Harry, we must get together. Well, I knew it'd never be arranged. She handed me $20 for a $2.50 fare and said, Harry, keep the change. Well, another man might have been angry. Another man might have been hurt. Another man would have never let her go. I stashed the bill in my shirt. And she walked away in silence. It's funny how you never know. But we both got what we asked for such a long, long time ago. You see, she was gonna be an actress, and I was gonna learn to fly. She took off to find the footlights, and I took off for the sky. And now she's acting happy in her handsome home, and me, I'm flying in my taxi, taking tips and getting stoned. I fly so high when I'm stoned. Thank you so much. Yeah, I was running late today, and I didn't get a chance to run through the things that I had intended to do. And that was one of them. Dang it, dang it. But you know, storytelling, it really is all about having a story to tell. Been to quite a few campfires where, you know, you just drank and fell asleep. But most of the campfires I've been to have always been quite entertaining, interesting stories. My Uncle Burrow was his name, Burrow, and he was my father's sister's husband, so in-law uncle. And there was a local horse riding facility that didn't live that far from him. And yes, I'll do that for you, Grace, you bet. And so anyway, there was this horse that he had fallen in love with and had built a really good bond with. And that horse acquired what was called sway back. And that's where the back of the horse dips down through all the horse riding, through all the weight and everything on it. And historically, when a horse reaches the point of that, they're put out of their misery. But my uncle pleaded with them and begged them to let him keep that horse. So he built a little barn out back for that horse in his backyard, and that horse was like his puppy dog. And I'm not kidding you. And he'd walk out there with a can of beer, and he'd pop the top off of it, and that horse would go run over, and he'd hold that beer can in the palm of his hand out, and that horse would grab a hold of that beer can, tip it up into the air, and swallow the entire contents of that beer can, and then with its teeth it would crunch that beer can ready for recycling and drop it on the ground, and then go over and lean against the tree, the cherry tree. He had a cherry tree in his backyard. They're constantly always saying, "Hey, dudes, man, don't go around the cherry tree. There's horsemen over there." But then also at the same time, all the neighbors were saying, "Guy, he's growing the best cherries there are." And that ain't no crap. I've had some interesting uncles in my life. I come from an interesting family. On my mother's side of the family, there was the McCree and the Graves family. And my grandmother, Graves, her brother Harold, my great-uncle Harold, he was a farmer out in Texas. And we went out to visit him out there, and we weren't not allowed in the house. My parents would not let us in the house. And we were supposed to stay in that house. It was a big enough house for a family. But we wound up staying in a motel so that my mom could go back that afternoon and clean and clean and clean and clean almost all day the next day, too. Because my Uncle Harold had a horse, a couple of goats, chickens, a duck, and a couple of dogs living in the house with him. And it must have been something that was in relation, because he had two brothers that said one day, we can't stand the world, and they moved up into the Tennessee mountains, never to be seen again, other than people that were at stores when they were purchasing things, which means they lived for many, many, many years after they did that. Grace sent me a request. This is a tune by Alanis Morissette. It was on the soundtrack to a movie called Angels in L.A., starring Meg Ryan and Nicolas Cage. And this is from the soundtrack from that film. There is an orchestral thing inside the middle and on the end of this, which I just could not play or do anything to. So I wrote my own thing there. So that's kind of like my own thing. And of course, it's a chick song, so I sing it manly like. Here we go, Uninvited. anyone would be. I'm flattered by your fascination with me. Like any hot-blooded man would be, I've simply wanted an object to crave. But you're not allowed. You're uninvited and unfortunate. It's light. Must be strangely exciting to watch the stoic squirm. Must be somewhat heartening to watch shepherd meet shepherd. But you're not allowed. You're uninvited and unfortunate. It's like any uncharted territory, I must seem greatly intriguing. You speak of my love like you have experienced love like mine before. But this is not allowed. You're uninvited and unfortunate. It's I don't think you unworthy. I need a moment to deliberate. Thank you so much for requesting that one. Yes, I did not set my tip jar out because the thing was just way too big, and so I thought not. Thanks for requesting that. I was actually thinking about possibly doing it. But you know, this was a campfire. But that's a story right there. I think I beat my guitar out of tune. Wow, I can't believe what time it already is. It always goes by when you're having fun. even in the real world when I'm doing shows, I can't believe how fast it goes by. 4-hour gigs go by in a blink of an eye, or at least in 3 to 5 minute intervals. You musicians know what I'm talking about. So when I was building my dance bustle for my men's traditional dance regalia, there was a gentleman that lived down in Charlotte, Port Charlotte, which is about 2.5 hours south of where I live. And he offered to let me use his shop over the last few days during a work week to build my bustle. And that's the big thing that sits on the back with the feathers that stick out in a half circle that you dance. Traditional men's dance bustles should not drop a feather, should not fall apart. Nothing should ever go wrong with them, especially when you're on the field dancing, or in the circle, as we call it. It would be a dishonor to the song, to the drum, to the dance, and to all the people there to have your regalia fall apart. And if you have regalia fall apart and the drum, and when I say the drum, there's a drum where one person or 20 people or 30 people are squeezed around it and over top of each other's shoulders, pounding on it. Together they are classified as one drum. So you drop a feather out in the middle of the circle, and that has to be brought up and offered to the drum, and they'll hang it on the drum. So if you see at a powwow a drum out there that's got tons of feathers hanging all over it, that means people were dropping their stuff out there in the circle. So this gentleman, he was like, I'm going to show you how to make a bustle that will last for a lifetime. It's all traditional, no extra stuff in it. It's all built with sinew, feathers, everything. It's done the old way. And to this day, it is still in complete condition. But that's not the story I want to tell you. The story is, he let me have his shop, and it took longer than I thought it would. And so I kind of lived in his shop out there, drank coffee, ate donuts, and smoked a lot of pot to get through getting it done. And I had gone, by the time I finally got to sleep, 58 hours with sleep. Because I had to drive back at the end of that, get home, pull all that out of my vehicle, load up my gear, and go do a 4-hour solo at a local hotel. So I get there to do my solo, and I am, obviously, when I got to bed after all of this, it was 58 hours. So I am already exhausted. I get my gear out there. It's a late summer afternoon. It's hotter than you know what. And I say to myself, there's just no way I'm going to be able to pull this off. So I do what you're taught. If any of you were ever in marching band or in a marching unit, they tell you that when you're standing there at attention, you don't keep your knees locked. If you do keep your knees locked and you pass out in the heat, you fall straight over on your head. But if they're not locked, then that means you drop down as gravity pulls you down, knees bend, and it's less painful on you. Well, for this gig, I chose to do exactly the opposite of what you're supposed to do. I locked my knees. I backed myself up against this post that supported the tiki palms on it for the roof, and moved that microphone so close to my mouth that if I was to fall forward, I would bump the mic with my mouth. And then I never opened a book. I never looked at a lyric. I just began to start songs that I knew. And I would start that song, my hand would be playing, and I would be singing it, and next thing I know, I would hear this voice in my head saying, the song is just about over, you need to come out. And so I actually took many naps throughout that 4-hour stint by singing songs that I innately knew and could do without ever needing a lyric sheet or chords or anything in front of me, for 4 hours. Made a lot of money in tips. Because I'm up there with my eyes closed, and people just thought I was, so into it, they didn't realize I was sleeping. And where I'm going with that is because music is very innate within all of us. If you watch a horror film without the soundtrack down, you can't hear anything. You notice things you didn't see before, and it's not really as scary as it was before. The music creates the tension. I have a very good friend of mine. He's an artist, a phenomenal painter. And actually, he's one of the people that has some life stories that would be brilliant in film. And I could just sit here and tell you those, and it would take over an hour or so, but we won't go there. But anyway, him and I were sitting there, and he was working on a painting, and he strums a little bit of guitar and stuff like that. And we had a conversation, and he said to me, he said, music is the greatest medium that there is in all art. You could look at the greatest painting every day in your life, and it might impact you the way that it did the day you looked at it the first time. If it's not in your life every day, it's just a memory. Music brings you back to the very moments that you were in life when you heard that song the first time, or when that song was important in a time in your life. And that is the absolute truth. You know, we're mostly made of water and fluid, so that means we're quite resonative. And music is resonation. And generally, in resonation and in balance and in tune. So many spiritual practices have used music and ethereal sounds to move you into and out of space and time. And music is, we would not exist without music. It is innately what we are. Gosh, I did. I finished tuning my guitar up and totally forgot to unmute it. That's unprofessional. Ooh, we don't mute stuff at a campfire. So I've got 2 more songs that I want to do for you. And I'm going to perform them both back to back as one story. But before I begin playing them, I'm going to tell you a little bit about the story and stories that made these 2 songs come together and exist. The first song will be called Broken Wings. And I had a dream. And in this dream, I was sitting almost to the top of a hill that juts out of a pine forest. And the hill is actually above the treetop line, so I could actually look down on it, and it looks like just a sea of green in all directions. There's a boulder sitting at the very top of this hill, and the hill is covered with a deep green grass with little white flowers all around it. And I'm sitting cross-legged on the ground facing that boulder that's half buried. It's a big boulder, so it's about 3-4 times my own size. And sitting on that boulder is an angel. And the angel says to me, the problem with the fallen ones is they're always looking for their wings, and they forgot that they still have them. And the angel said, do your best. And the angel brought its wing over its shoulder, and the wings were so luminescent that there is no detail to them. There's no feathers, you don't see any points or anything like that. It's just a glow. But it brings it over, and it lets me reach up and touch its wing. And I reach up and I touch its wing with my index finger, and the rest of my fingers balled up. And as my hand goes up into the light of that wing, my finger vanishes, and it looks just like an arrowhead on the end of my hand. I wake up the next morning, and I wrote this song. Now, this song may sound like it has bits and pieces of that dream in it, but it turns out this song has an entirely, completely different meaning. The dream inspired this song, but the song tells a whole complete different story, and in my life, it would be parables. And so I actually tell truth in this and highlight a little bit of the dream. The song that I'm going to do after that is called Voices in the Wind, and I had the unmistakable honor of traveling around the southeastern United States with a Muskogee Creek medicine elder by the name of Grandfather Bearhart, and you could find him. He is published. When he went to different locations, whether it be churches or just places that had a hall that was rented for him to speak in, I would play music when the people came in. So I had big drums, little drums, flutes, guitars, everything that I could have to create that kind of space and kind of mood for what he was giving. And then, of course, during his intermission, I would play. And then when he was done, he would sit at the edge of the stage or the pulpit or wherever we were at, and the people would circle the inside of the building around the walls up to the center, and one by one, they would come and give him tobacco and talk to him. So I played music for all of that, which could be, a few hours at least. And that's where the second song, called Voices in the Wind, will come in. I wrote that during one of those nights when he was down there meeting the people, and I couldn't jot it down or anything, so I wrote the song, performed the song, maybe played a couple excerpts of it as things went through the rest of the night, and then as soon as we were done, I wrote the lyrics down to it. And together, these two songs create one story, Broken Wings and Voices in the Wind. And again, thank you for coming and being here today. Sorry I'm going over the hour. Started a little late and was running a little late. Discombobulation is always fixed with combobulation, I'm just saying. This is called Broken Wings and Voices in the Wind. I was standing in a meadow, flowers all around, trees of evergreen. Then across the ground I saw a moving shadow. I looked above my head, a hawk was flying free. A red-tailed hawk will fly on the wings of a dream, soaring across the sky. Could that red-tailed hawk be me? How I've longed to fly, to see the world below me. Every time I try, I have a broken wing. Then I heard her voice like an angel in the meadow. Oh, how I held my breath listening to her sing. Visions passed before my eyes while I was listening. Her voice alone won't set me free. Moments pass, and yet it seems as though forever. Now I'm lost inside my own awakened dreams. Haunting melodies leave too much to remember. Will she help me heal my wings? A red-tailed hawk will fly on the wings of a dream, soaring across the sky. Could that red-tailed hawk be me? How I've longed to fly, to see the world below me. Well, every time I try, I have a broken wing. I have a broken wing. Broken wings, don't leave me on the ground. Broken wings, an answer must be found. Broken wings, it's time for me to fly. Well, I will surely heal, and I'll give another try. I opened my eyes to see her stand before me. Flowers in her hair, her gentle voice still sings. I reached out my hand to softly touch the angel, and then she let me touch her wings. A red-tailed hawk will fly on the wings of a dream, soaring across the sky. Could that red-tailed hawk be me? How I've longed to fly, to see the world below me. Every time I try, I had a broken wing. A red-tailed hawk will fly on the wings of a dream, soaring across the sky. The red-tailed hawk is me. I have no reason the smoke rises high above the treetops, vanishing into the sky. On the smoke I send the words that are my prayers, prayers I've made for you and I hear voices in the wind, I hear voices in the wind, and they keep telling me to fly. I hear voices in the wind, I hear voices in the wind, they keep telling me to fly. There comes a time when letting go is the answer. A leap of faith is how I will fly. Stepping up, I feel the wind rush through my feathers. Then leaping off, I learn to fly. I hear voices in the wind, I hear voices in the wind, and they keep telling me to fly. I hear voices in the wind, I hear voices in the wind, and they keep telling me to fly. And the smoke rises high above the treetops, vanishing into the sky. And I hear voices, 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 voices. I hear voices in the wind, I hear voices in the wind, telling me to fly. Voices, 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 voices. I hear voices in the wind, I hear voices in the wind, and now it's time to say goodbye. Thank you so much for hanging out with me today. Hey, Penn, sorry, that was the last song, bro. And it's always a pleasure to be here, pleasure to play for you. And gosh, I got so much more stories I could do for you. So we will have to do that again sometime. Thank you so much. Grace, I'm so glad you're able to make it. Good to see you. Robert, good to see you too, man. Jody, wonderful job hosting with the Mosting. Sarah, this is an awesome thing. Glad I'm here. And thank you for inviting me to do it. And my name is Red Hawk, streaming to you from St. Petersburg, Florida, on the other side of the bay from Tampa Bay. And I'm breaking my stream in 3, 2,